You think you can just walk in here and take over?
In a room thick with tension, the air heavy with the scent of polished brass and fresh coffee, where a grizzled old general stands before a crowd of young soldiers, his voice cracking like thunder as he barks a single, incomprehensible command. No one moves, no one even blinks, confusion rippling through the ranks like a chill wind. But then, from the shadows at the back, a humble cleaning lady in her faded uniform drops her mop and snaps to rigid attention, her eyes gleaming with tears that hold a lifetime of unspoken pain. In the heart of Fort Hamilton, where the American flag whipped fiercely against the autumn sky, General Harlan Thorpe had come to deliver what was supposed to be a routine inspection speech. His medals gleamed under the fluorescent lights, each one a silent testament to battles won and lives lost. The soldiers stood in perfect formation, boots polished to mirrors, hearts pounding with the mix of awe and nerves that only a legend like Thorpe could inspire. He cleared his throat, his face etched with the deep lines of a man who'd seen too much war, and then he uttered it, a sharp, guttural phrase in what sounded like mangled German, Achtung! Schattenwolf ein Berafen. The room froze. Whispers erupted like sparks. Was it a joke? A slip of the tongue from old age? The young lieutenant shifted uneasily, glancing at his peers, but no one dared respond. Yet, as the silence stretched into something almost unbearable, a soft clatter echoed from the rear, a bucket tipping over. All eyes turned to Maria Gonzalez, the quiet cleaning lady who'd been with the base for years, invisible in her role, mopping floors and emptying trash with the kind of quiet dignity that went unnoticed. But now, she stood straight as a rifle barrel, her hand rising in a crisp salute, her lips trembling as if the words had unlocked a door long sealed shut. What secret could this unassuming woman possibly hold that connected her to the general's cryptic call? Maria's hands, rough from years of scrubbing and surviving, shook slightly as she held that salute, her mind flooding back to 1944, when the world was a blaze of fire and fear. She had been just 20 then, a fiery young Latina from New York, enlisting not for glory but for her family, her brothers fighting on the front lines, her mother praying novenas back home. The OSS had spotted her talent for languages, pulling her into the shadows as a covert operative, code name Schattenwolf, Shadow Wolf. Dropped behind enemy lines in occupied France, she posed as a maid in a Nazi officer's quarters, her heart hammering every time she dusted a desk laden with classified maps. The risks were unimaginable. One wrong word, one suspicious glance, and it was over. But Maria pushed on, relaying intel that saved countless Allied lives, including a pivotal tip that thwarted a German counterattack. Yet, the cost was etched in her soul, watching a fellow spy, her closest friend Elise, captured and executed right before her eyes, the screams echoing in her nightmares even now. She had held Elise's hand in those final moments, whispering promises of vengeance, sacrificing her own chance at escape to ensure the message got out. Back then, General Thorpe, then just a captain, had been her handler, the voice on the radio guiding her through the darkness. Their connection was forged in whispers and codes, a bond deeper than blood, but war had a way of burying such things under layers of classified files and forgotten heroes. As Maria stood there in the present, her salute unwavering, the general's eyes widened in recognition, his tough facade cracking like old leather. Could this be the moment when buried truths finally surfaced, pulling them both back into the storm they thought they'd escaped? The soldiers murmured, shifting on their feet, the air growing thicker with anticipation as General Thorpe stepped forward, his boots echoing like heartbeats on the tiled floor. "Maria?" he whispered, his voice breaking for the first time that day, the weight of decades pressing down. She nodded, tears tracing paths down her weathered cheeks, and in that instant, the room transformed from a sterile hall into a theater of raw emotion. Flashbacks hit her like gunfire, the cold rain soaking her uniform as she huddled in a bombed-out barn, radio crackling with Thorpe's urgent commands, her fingers numb from frostbite but steady on the Morse key. She had lost so much, her youth, her innocence, even the love of a young soldier who'd proposed just before shipping out, only to never return. Sacrifice after sacrifice, each one a brick in the wall she'd built around her heart after the war, retreating into anonymity as a cleaner, her medals hidden in a dusty box under her bed. No parades for spies like her, just quiet nights alone, haunted by what-ifs. But now, with the general approaching, his hand extended, Maria felt that wall crumble. He enveloped her in a hug, his uniform scratching against her apron, whispering, "You saved us all, Shadow Wolf. I never forgot." The soldiers watched, breathless, as stories poured out, tales of midnight infiltrations, narrow escapes through enemy patrols, the scent of gunpowder and fear mingling in the air. One young private wiped away a tear, realizing this cleaning lady had more courage in her pinky than most men in uniform. Yet, as the embrace lingered, a bittersweet shadow fell. Maria's health was failing, her body worn from years of silent toil, and this reunion felt like a final gift from fate. Would the base honor her now, or was this just another fleeting moment in a life of overlooked heroism? As applause erupted, tentative at first then thundering, Maria pulled back, her eyes locking with Thorpe's, a silent understanding passing between them, like old comrades sharing a foxhole one last time. He turned to the crowd, his voice steady now, recounting how her intel had turned the tide at a crucial battle, saving his platoon from ambush. The soldiers leaned in, hanging on every word, the room alive with the hum of rediscovered respect. Maria smiled faintly, the weight of her secrets lifting, but deep down, she mourned the years lost to silence. The family she never started, the dreams deferred for duty. In her mind's eye, she saw Elise again, young and fierce, urging her forward. "For all of us," Maria murmured, and Thorpe nodded, squeezing her shoulder. The base commander, stunned into action, promised a ceremony, medals dusted off and presented at last. But as the day faded, Maria slipped away quietly, back to her mop and bucket, content in the knowledge that her story had finally been heard. Yet, in the quiet of her small apartment that night, surrounded by faded photos and yellowed letters, she whispered a prayer for the shadows that had shaped her. The general's visit had reignited a spark, reminding her that true heroes don't always wear capes or stars. They wear aprons and carry brooms, their sacrifices echoing through time. And as the stars twinkled outside her window, Maria closed her eyes, dreaming of peace at last. But what if this wasn't the end? What hidden chapters might still unfold for a woman who'd lived 1,000 lives in the dark?